a tasty scene. Chop a dice, you make it clean. Sizzle pop 'em with the mean. Your kitchen queen on the cooking screen.
Welcome back to another episode of Cooker with Rheanna. I can't even talk today. Today we are making Lazy Man cabbage rolls. I grew up with cabbage rolls. Actually, growing up, it was whole cheese back then. That is the Ukrainian version of it that has no meat in it. It is rice with seasonings and actually just bacon. But we are going to use ground beef, cabbage, tomatoes, beef broth, onions, and that's all going to come together to make the dinner tonight. So before I get started on anything, I'm going to start by preheating the oven so that we don't run into the problem that we normally run into. So we're going to set the oven to 350. So now that that's going, I'm going to turn on my stove here to start cooking the hamburger. And if you don't have one of these yet, make sure you go get them. They help so much. So we're going to start mashing our hamburger. It calls for, to do a normal recipe, it calls for 2 pounds of ground hamburger. So this is roughly 2 pounds. Remember, I don't really measure much unless I have to. So we're going to get this going in here. And then we're going to start preparing everything else that we need to throw in. So now that we've got our ground beef cooking, we're going to start getting our cabbage ready. And yes, this is the same cabbage from the last recipe. It was huge, so had to figure out different recipes to make. So we need 3.5 pounds worth of cabbage for this recipe. So I'm going to start chopping it, and I'll show you what it looks like once we've got it all cut. Well, guys, as you can see, I've chopped up all my cabbage. That's roughly about 3.5 pounds of cabbage. So we're going to set this off to the side because we don't need it just yet. And now we're going to slice our onion. It calls for a cup of onion, but to me that's a little too much. So we're just going to go with what this makes, and then we'll go to the next step. So now that we've got the onions chopped, we're going to throw it in with our cabbage. Just like that. And now we're going to start assembling everything else that we need in here. So just give me a moment while I get myself set up, and I'll show you what we put in here. So we've got the onion in here. We've got the cabbage in here. We're going to throw in a can of diced tomatoes. It says tomato sauce, but this is what I found, so this is what we're using. So we're going to pour that in here with the juice, just like that. Then, once I get a spoon, we are going to mix this in here a little bit. And honestly, you know what? I probably could have went with another can of tomatoes. But they do get juicy later on. So we're just going to mix that because we're going to have to mix everything together anyways. So try to get this done now before we add in more stuff. So our next thing that we're going to add in is 1 cup of dry rice. So we're going to throw that in there. It calls for salt. I don't salt things unless I absolutely have to, but the tomatoes have salt in it. The hamburger technically has salt in it, so we're not adding salt. So our next step is we're going to take our hamburger that if it had grease in it, we would drain it, but somehow this one did not have any grease. So we are going to pour our hamburger into this pot or mixing bowl, just like that. set that away. And we're just going to mix this up a little bit. Just to make it a little bit easier for when we... Oh, there goes a little piece of rice. So just like that. And then I'll show you what we do next as soon as I get myself ready. So now we're going to transfer all of this into a baking dish. This could be a little difficult because it is quite heavy. So please bear with me. Holy man. We probably should have done the half recipe. Ooh, I think I'm making a mess. Hopefully not. So now we're going to scrape the bowl, get everything out. Just like that. We are going to put this all in here, get it all mixed and put in. So we're just making sure it's all nice and in here all even. Now that makes one full amount of stuff. So the next thing that we do before we put it in the oven is we put in, it says 2 cans of beef broth, but I couldn't find cans, so we're just going to use this. So we're just going to open that up and we're going to pour this. This right now is what helps the rice cook. And it will also help the cabbage to soften up a bit. So that's probably about 2 cans worth, I would guess. So the next thing we want to do before we put it in the oven is we need to cover it with tin foil. And I really hope we have enough tin foil. Just enough tin foil. Yay! So we're going to cover that just like that. If you have an AI assistant, you're going to want to get them to set a timer for 1 hour once you put the dish in the oven. So I'm going to put this in the oven and then we'll get our AI to set a timer. Just like that. Ziggy, set a timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
So I am just going to tidy up my mess here, and then I'll see you guys back in an hour, which honestly is going to be, about 5 seconds, your time. So I'll see you in a bit. Well, guys, the timer has gone off, so now I'm going to pull it out of the oven. Piper, you need to move. Next thing we're going to do is pull off the tin foil. And you notice I still have my gloves on. So now that we have it out, we're going to take our spoon. Ooh. We're going to mix it all up. I'm really hoping all this beef broth actually dissipates. Just like this. Push it all down again. And now we're going to throw it back in the oven for half an hour uncovered. Ziggy, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
And now we wait for another half hour, which is 5 seconds for you, and we'll see you when it's done. Well, guys, as you can see, it's time to open the oven. And I want the dogs to back away because I do not want to burn them. Holy man, that's heavy. Oof. Whew. So, now that we've pulled it out, well, guys, the timer has gone off, so now I'm going to pull it out of the oven. Piper, you need to move. Next thing we're going to do is pull off the tin foil. And you notice I still have my gloves on. So, now that we have it out, we're going to take our spoon. Ooh. We're going to mix it all up. I'm really hoping all this beef broth actually dissipates. Just like this. Push it all down again. And now we're going to throw it back in the oven for half an hour uncovered. Ziggy, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
And now we wait for another half hour, which is 5 seconds for you, and we'll see you when it's done. Well, guys, my timer just went off, so we're going to pull it out of the oven and blast myself with heat. Oh, it smells really good. Oh. Yeah. That is a lot of food. So we're just going to give this a little bit of a stir. It's still quite liquidy in here, which I'm not a huge fan of. But we'll see. And I think next time I might add more tomatoes because it just doesn't seem like there's enough tomatoes. So, but that's just me. So we'll just give this a quick mix. I'm going to let it sit for a minute just to kind of do its thing. And then we'll dish her up. Well, guys, it's kind of sad. I stirred it up a little bit more. We went with the hour covered, half an hour uncovered, let it sit, did all the ingredients that we're supposed to do. So we'll see how it turned out. Hopefully it's a winner, but I don't know because I've never made this before. It looks good. And it smells good. So I guess we'll just have to see. So I'll get back to you as soon as we start to try it. Well, Mike, new dish this time. Went off a recipe I found on Pinterest.
Yep.
So what do you think?
To be honest, cabbage is a little crunchy. Rice, you said it was a little crunchy too. Overall, it's pretty good dish. This one I probably give like maybe a 7 out of 10.
That's not too bad.
To be honest, good dish, but
So is it a pass or fail on a Pinterest?
this one I don't know. To be honest.
Okay. Well, let's try a little bit of it and see what we think after we've eaten a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, is a Pinterest meal. So honestly, it's not bad. Would I do things differently? Absolutely. Um, I think honestly it could have been cooked a lot longer than what it actually said. Another thing is I would make it as a half a recipe because that's a lot of food. Um, it doesn't really seem tomatoey enough to be like a cabbage roll. And it definitely needs different seasonings in it. Not having salt in it doesn't matter, but it definitely needs other seasonings in it. So next time I will make it again, but I will add my own stuff to it because it needs some work. So Mike gave it a 7. I think he's being generous. I'm going to go with a 5, honestly. But if I make it again, I'll bring you guys back and you can see what I do differently. So for now, I'm going to leave it at that. I want to say thank you for coming in and watching this. Let me know if you think it's a Pinterest fail or pass. And what would you do differently? So for now, bon appetit, and I'll see you next time.